Okay, good day everyone. Thank you for joining. It's nice to have such a large turnout. My name is Andrew Lampett with Agile, and again the subject of this webinar is Achieving Customer Onboarding, Case Management, and More within Salesforce, JIRA, and Confluence using Agile Wikidsmart. So the agenda we have for you today is first to give a corporate overview of Agile, then talk about Agile products called Wikidsmart. So I'll give you an overview of the Wikidsmart platform and the associated products. Then we'll talk about specific use cases where it really makes sense to have contextual integration of products. And those examples include the ones mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, customer onboarding, case management, etc. And then we'll talk about some challenges of integrating Salesforce with those products, not only JIRA and Confluence, but also as well as other tools and applications. Finally, we'll have a Wikidsmart CRM overview and demo, which is the application that handles the integration of Salesforce and these other tools. And finally, we'll have some time at the end for Q&A. So first off, a corporate overview of Agile. So Agile was founded with a specific mission of integrating teams, tools, processes, and knowledge. So the founder, Sanjeev Nath, had as a VP of engineering for many years, this challenge of always trying to understand the latest status of what was going on with his teams. And so he realized the solution would be to integrate the repositories of those tools, because those always have the latest status of what's going on. So the solution that was created with the Wikidsmart platform can actually be, it was generic enough that it can be extended to other domains and applications as well, even out to CRM and Salesforce, as you're going to see. The company was founded in 2006, and the first product was launched in 2009. There you see our partners, both on the technology side and services, Pix out of Germany and Valiantus out of France. I invite you to do a Google search of Agile with InfoWorld and SD Times. We have some nice coverage there. And there you see a selection of some of our customers. Bechtel being one of the largest privately held construction companies in the world, University Health Network up in Canada, for example. So let's to set up the discussion, I'd like to kind of cover the inspiration of how Agile began. So on the left we have business sponsors, and on the right we have business managers. In the middle we have the software lifecycle. So things that you're all familiar with in the software delivery process. You need to do market research, conduct the business cases, have market requirements, specifications, etc. Now, on the left, with business sponsors, that you're going to have folks responsible for requirements, for strategy, focus groups, gathering information. Folks on the right are more operationally focused with respect to sales, customer support, etc. So what's going on in the middle with respect to communication? Something I think we're all quite familiar with. There's dozens of phone calls, emails, status checks, just to understand where things stand today. And when you have distributed teams, that's even more of a challenge. And so what Agile does is to overcome all of these challenges by, again, linking repositories and applications so that real-time status is instantly understood. That way information doesn't have to be hunted down in separate silos or via separate teams. So with that, I'd like to give you an overview of the Wikidsmart platform and products. I'd like to point out, first of all, that the Wikidsmart platform is open source, as well as the applications. So you're welcome to go to Agile, download the applications, use them for free. If you'd like Agile to help with support and services, we can help with that as well. So I'd like to also kick off the description of the platform with just some brief comments about some of these words I'll be using throughout the webinar, things like integration, interoperability. Just want to cover that ground because sometimes folks are not clear on what those means, or we have different definitions. So I'd like to give you this Agile perspective. So for single sign-on, a lot of folks think, hey, yes, my apps are integrated because we can all log in with just one login. But I want to point out that's only login, that's not content. Okay. Likewise, when you're doing point-to-point, sometimes that makes sense to have a point-to-point connector to connect, for example, JIRA and Salesforce. But how is that going to help you in the long run? What about connectors for Confluence or other tools or other applications? So when you go the point-to-point route, you tend to have a bit of a spaghetti code mess to deal with and you're doing a lot of integration each time. It is not covering integration in a comprehensive manner. And then you have something called an enterprise service bus, and folks look at that a lot of times and say, well, that's pretty heavy. You know, I'm just trying to connect a few systems, and it does require a lot of work in implementation as well. And again, it doesn't give you that contextual integration that delivers interoperability. And finally, you do have this contextual interoperability when you plug into your Salesforce or your JIRA. They should instantly aware all of the content in each other's systems. And that's what Agile Wikidsmart delivers. And I think I'm going to actually jump into demos a little bit sooner than just at the end of this webinar, just to give you a taster. I'll cover a couple more points first. Also about connecting versus traceability. You know, our friends at Atlassian with JIRA 5 have come up with some fantastic new features. They also have more integration between JIRA and Confluence, for example. But I'd like to point out that still there's no awareness of concepts between JIRA and Confluence. They're simply linking between the two. And what you really want to have is maximum traceability of all content in the whole system. So everything in Confluence, everything in JIRA, and everything in Salesforce and other systems all instantly recognize each other. And as you're going to see in the demos, that's what Agile Wikidsmart provides. And then one more item I wanted to cover is, you know, when we're talking about search, what are the differences here? So I think, you know, we all live in a Google world. We're all accustomed to doing a keyword search, and Google does great for that in the consumer world. But in the enterprise, you know, I might be looking for a specific thing. For example, I might have the word Gemini for a project, and Gemini might be in my project description, my requirements description, it might be in an issue. So when I'm doing requirements search for Gemini, I only want to get requirements. I don't want to get everything associated. And so that's where Semantic Search comes in. And that means that you're able to search for specific things and find them very quickly and easily. And that's where Agile Wikidsmart comes in, is you're able to do semantic search. So I'm going to just jump into a quick demo, so to kind of whet your appetite, to show you exactly what I'm talking about with all these kind of items. So if I go over here to, let's go over into Salesforce. And here I'm going to look for, I've got my Acme account open up, and I just want to point out a couple buttons, create JIRA issue and also wiki page. So here you see that with the Wikidsmart platform underneath, we are able to instantly create an issue from Salesforce. And that shows, this is just a confirmation message that the issue has been created. And then down here, when I can refresh this, I'll see that a new issue has been updated. And then I can either choose to fill in that information here with the JIRA issues. Let's just open that up. Here's the new issue. I have a choice. I can either go to JIRA here, or I can edit it right in line. So it's very handy to be able to just interact with JIRA, create an issue right here without even having to go into JIRA. If I want to, though, as I mentioned, if I close this up, oops, let me come down here. I'll cancel that for now. I still can just click on the link of the issue ID and go in and launch JIRA. So that gives you a quick taste of what I'm talking about with respect to having that tight integration between the two. So if I come back here and I want to edit, and I want to say summary Acme widgets, you know, I can just say update that. So I need to take care of the new update, excuse me, the new install. And then when I go back over and I refresh this, you're going to see this changes from Acme widgets to need to take care of the install. And there it is right there. So you see it's just a very quick flavor of what I'm talking about, how you have this bi-directional linking in between. Also, just very quickly on the search side, say if I'm, I have a, I'm going to do, let's see, Apex search. So I can search here when I'm doing a search within the wiki, and I have all these different concepts that I can search for. I'm going to search for account, but let me search for Acme because there's a couple different choices. You can see that I get a choice of different accounts named Acme, Acme Widgets, Acme Software. There's another, I have the content down listed down here. And then I can go in and actually look at things associated with the account that have information maybe related from other systems. So let's see, if I go down here, I can see an issue, for example, related to Acme Widgets. So I click on that issue, and that's a JIRA ID. And guess what? It's pulling information from JIRA, and now I'm seeing that kind of information. I can also keep clicking on different content, and it's telling me about, for example, a person who reported the issue. So if I have information in Confluence or in JIRA or in other applications or tools, that would all be navigable from this search as well. Okay, that was just a basic kind of a teaser I wanted to give you with respect to the demo. I didn't want to hold that all to the end, just to give you an idea. And now you have something to visualize as I'm talking about the platform. So let's maximize this again. So what is Wikidsmart doing? Well, it's uniting your environment. So all of the content becomes essentially one system from a content perspective. And that lets you achieve the traceability, interoperability, and the federated search that I was just describing. You can also do some other powerful things. You can do automation, have the content flowing amongst your applications and tools like water. So you have the ability to also create new wiki pages, for example, or new content in other systems based upon content that's created in JIRA, for example, can be populated automatically into Salesforce and vice versa. Or you can have wiki pages created, for example, when a new account closes in Salesforce and your opportunity hits 100%, boom, you can create a new account page in the wiki, and that wiki page can then pull information from JIRA or other systems. Very exciting. And also, because you have this kind of overlay, you could say it's kind of a metadata overlay of your systems with Wikidsmart, you're achieving consistency of content and easy maintenance of content across systems. And one more thing, you're able to actually, with Wikidsmart, it enables you to turn JIRA and Confluence into really an application platform. And what that means is you're having these new applications like I'm describing, customer onboarding, case management, and what new tools did we add? None. We're actually using the same applications, the same tools, whether it's Salesforce and JIRA and Confluence. You're using all the same GUIs that people are accustomed to using, plus we're able to leverage the workflow in JIRA and use Wikidsmart to orchestrate everything as well in a content and context perspective, so that now you have new powerful applications within the same GUIs that people are already accustomed to use. So what does this look like visually? I'd like to walk through a couple architecture slides to kind of show you how this Wikidsmart platform achieves this, because it is quite sophisticated and elegant, and people are just surprised at the power that can bring, that Wikidsmart brings. So I think illustrating that will make things a little bit more clearly for you. So on the top we have the different tools represented with respect to the different categories. So for example, issue tracking, that's JIRA, test management with Selenium, various customer capabilities with respect to Salesforce. And then underneath it, you have the various attributes, identifying attributes that are key attributes with respect to each tool and application. So if we look at JIRA, for example, project, component, release, these are the key aspects that JIRA is dealing with. Now, what's happening below is the Wikidsmart platform with the context server, as we call it, Wikidsmart Context Server, WCS, captures and brings all of those identifying attributes together and maps them in kind of a graph database in what we call our software engineering model. So the software engineering model is already there. It exists out of the box, so to speak, with Agile Wikidsmart. And so what happens is these attributes are mapped to that software engineering model. Now you might say, well, how do you know about our software engineering methods and processes? Well, the fact of the matter is, we all engineer systems differently. However, I think we all agree that an application has code. There are issues associated with the code. A developer creates the code. A tester tests the code. So in other words, even though you have different processes and ways to deliver software, there are still these fundamental concepts that tie us all together. And that's what Wikidsmart is doing. It's taking only these identifying attributes, mapping them together, kind of weaving a web, and that web can be navigable by the business user or the technical person or an executive so that they can surf across this information system in a coherent fashion. Now, once that's done, here's slide 2 of the architecture discussion. When we're importing these identifying attributes into Wikidsmart, guess what? In conjunction with the knowledge model of software engineering, we integrate all that content, and we can also start delivering powerful new applications. And those Wikidsmart applications that we deliver out of the box that are, again, open source or free to download are PM, QA, ALM, and CRM. And that delivers not only applications, but reports and dashboards based upon all of the content. Now, I want to point out that, again, we're only importing the identifying attributes. We're not bringing in all of the content of JIRA and Jenkins and Salesforce. All of the detail information is left in the source application and tool. We're only importing and weaving together a net of the identifying attributes, and then we're able to serve applications on top of those. So now I'll get into a little bit more detail about what those applications are, just so you have an overview of them all. You see Wikidsmart CRM at the bottom. That's the one we're going to get into with respect to Salesforce. So first up is Wikidsmart PM. That's requirements management within Confluence. So we provide structured forms to capture requirements and tie those to JIRA and Greenhopper and other tools for traceability. So you can trace, for example, when you do a test and it fails, you can trace it back to the original requirement. Wikidsmart QA enables test case management within Confluence, integrated with JIRA and Selenium, so that you have workflow-based automation and traceability for QA teams. Now, Wikidsmart ALM is a superset of PM and QA. It includes all those features, plus you're able to integrate a version control and continuous build, continuous integration, both with Jenkins and whatever version control repository you're using, Subversion or Git, for example, and that's done through Atlassian's Fisheye. Finally, there's Wikidsmart CRM, which is specifically integration of Salesforce.com with JIRA and Confluence for achieving these applications that we were talking about before, onboarding and case management. And that's the subject of the webinar demo features, of course. So when we want to talk about bringing CRM to the rest of your organization, what exactly does that mean? Well, for onboarding, it might be, for example, we've got a new customer, we've achieved, the opportunity's been set to 100%, so the deal is closed, and now we can create and manage tasks from the account page in Salesforce to initiate the onboarding procedure. That might be, for example, send out the professional services team and get the project kicked off. For customer case management, again, you can create issues and tasks within, or create cases actually, from within Salesforce for the ability to triage and manage a resolution. Customer account management, so you can actually have information pulled into a wiki page from Salesforce, from JIRA, so that, for example, an account manager can have an easy interface within a wiki page to track what's going on with the customer, all aspects of the customer from that wiki page. And then finally, you can do customer requirements management, so you can associate requirements with the project artifacts in Confluence, and that really gives you maximum traceability for requirements as well. So what are some of the challenges of integration with Salesforce today? So of course, if you have no integration solution whatsoever, you're caught in this kind of mess of copying, pasting information between JIRA and Salesforce and back to the wiki. I think most people have coped with that pain, and that's a well-known pain. So solutions are sought, and some of the first ideas are, well, let's just go for point-to-point connectors. And those look like kind of, they can make sense at first, but let's face it, for lack of a better word, they're kind of a dumb integration. They don't really understand what's going contextually between Salesforce and JIRA, for example. So you have to program in all the logic as to where things should go and how things are related to one another. So you're very much limited to whatever you're going to program in. Oftentimes that's not bidirectional, or it's somehow a limited connector. And it always requires extensive services to make it actually work. Remember, you have custom fields that need to be accommodated in Salesforce. Now, any solution is going to require that, but that makes it especially extra heavy integration. So beyond that, for JIRA, the connectors really tend to handle very limited use cases. It's not integrating all of the content between JIRA and Salesforce. And on the Confluence side, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not aware of any other connectors that exist out there that simply at that, full stop. There are no connectors to Confluence, so therefore you can't really pull in content from Salesforce or JIRA or what have you. That all has to be a manual process. And then when you're going to add connectors in the future, you're continuing this point-to-point paradigm, and that is, I connect A to B, and then next up I connect C to D, but A knows nothing about D and B knows nothing about C, so now I need to add more connectors. So in other words, you start to get in this spaghetti code integration mess. So you want to head that off as soon as possible. So what are the Wikidsmart CRM features? First off, it's easy to install. It's easy to unite all the systems that you're using. We use RESTful integration, and it's secure through the Salesforce.com's mechanisms. And what that gives you is access to all functions as if you're working with one system. So you have the bidirectional linking and syncing of Salesforce concepts with JIRA issues and Confluence pages. So for Confluence, very importantly, we provide structured wiki pages so that you can pull content from JIRA and Salesforce. You can view Salesforce and JIRA content within the wiki and create this customer dashboard that I was speaking of. On the JIRA side, you can create and update issues or to-do items or action depending on the context from Salesforce. And very importantly, you can associate multiple JIRA issues to a single Salesforce concept, or you can associate multiple Salesforce concepts to a single JIRA issue. Remember, when we speak of bidirectional transfer, we're not just speaking of this kind of high-level, what's the name or what's the ID of this issue. Rather, we bring everything. So comments, attachments, whatever content is associated, that's all bidirectional. And very importantly, you can report across not only JIRA and Salesforce, but also the wiki, content from other applications and tools. You can display that content within Confluence, within the portal. If you have your own portal or Zadro can provide a portal, it's always your choice as to what GUI you want to use to have this view of the federated content. So with that, let's talk about some example use cases in a demo. So we got Acme and its customers, Wiley Systems, and you're going to do, you have three different aspects. You have a new customer, and you want to deliver professional services to the customer. You want to support them, and the sales folks want to continue to have a 360-degree view of what's going on. So on the professional services side, a new deal has been closed. The opportunity is set to 100%. So you want to kick off the new project from within Salesforce and associate to-dos and push those to JIRA for the sales services team. On the customer support side, you want to manage incoming issues with requests from Salesforce using JIRA. And then finally, on the sales side, you want to see that wiki page, and with the full status of what's going on from content in Salesforce and JIRA, etc. And again, we're going to leverage the existing GUIs. We're not going to go outside into another tool. So let's go into Salesforce. Go back to a little bit about what I was showing before. So again, we've just closed a new customer. The sales team has done a great job and closed the deal. And guess what? Professional services, maybe head of professional services wants to come in, and they want to say, let's create a new issue to get the project going. So we would just say create JIRA issue. This is a confirmation ID that's been created. So I come down here and I'm going to refresh this. And now what's going to happen is Salesforce is going to go back to Wikidsmart and say, hey, where's the content from JIRA? And so here are the identifying attributes that are going to appear. The JIRA issue is going to appear. And there it is. So that's the new issue that was just created a moment ago. And what I can do is, as I mentioned a moment ago, I can edit this inline so I don't have to leave my tool. I can be a professional services manager and say, no, I'm going to just edit this right here within Salesforce. So let's see. And I can say it's a major priority, and then I just, if I want, I can upload a file as well, and that would be uploaded into JIRA. So I'm just going to save. And then now when I refresh this, I'm going to see the updated information, kick off the Wiley project. So I was editing it right here, but now I could say, no, I want to go into JIRA. I want to actually work within JIRA and maybe make some other modifications to this issue. So I can, for example, come over and assign it to other folks, all the traditional stuff that I'm accustomed to working with JIRA, but I don't have to be exposed to JIRA if I don't want to. I can just work within Salesforce. Now, coming back into Salesforce, I can also see other information. This is very powerful, especially for the sales folks. I can see other information under this account properties. Now, this is a custom section for Wikidsmart, and we can modify that name if we don't want that. But we can have other information listed here that's pulling from JIRA or pulling from other applications and tools. So, for example, if I want to see the top 5 pending actions, either the salesperson or the whole project team can go in here and say, oh, okay, these are the top issues that we need to be aware of. Now, when I go down further, I can see specific cases. So I can say, let's open this case. And as I mentioned a moment ago, we can have multiple issues assigned to a specific case. So I can create another issue for case management. That's my confirmation message. I'm going to refresh this. And now I'll see that below. It's going to bring back the information. So again, I can edit this inline. I don't have to leave. And here I am. Oops, that's the, excuse me, that's one that was already existing. Let me refresh this. Oh, that was, refresh this one here. Try one time here. Maybe I just confused myself when I created another issue within the case. Okay, so it's just actually, oh, I see what it's doing. It's giving the same title. That's why I was getting confused. So let me go in here. Now I'm going to launch JIRA, just to show that I can go right back over to JIRA and play with the case from there if I want to. And I can edit it here. And I can change it so I get it working on Windows. It's release candidate. And also I can update it. And then I can go back into Salesforce. And again, I see my, I'll make sure that that's refresh. And now they'll see this case is updated here also in bidirectional fashion. Now, something I didn't mention before was, I've been talking about JIRA up to now, but if I go back, remember I can go to Acme Widgets to the account page, and I can say, well, you know, if I'm a salesperson, I can either choose to create a new wiki page or access a wiki page with respect to this account. So I click wiki page, and if it doesn't exist already, it will create it for me. If it already exists, we're going to go to that wiki page right now. And guess what? There are templates defined, and we can customize these templates, but it's creating a template for me that shows information pulled from Salesforce, for example, over here. This name of the Confluence page is pulled as the account ID, the account object in Salesforce. And I see the various content associated with the account. So this can act as a sort of a dashboard for me in managing the account. This could be the salesperson, this could be a professional services person, it could be a support person, or it could be everybody that could agree on, hey, we're going to look and see the 360-degree view of what the customer is doing in the wiki page, or we might want to see that in Salesforce. It's really dependent upon how your organization wants to work. Now you have the flexibility to choose where that point should be. Should it be in Wiki? Fine. Should it be in Salesforce? Fine. You can pull the content from anywhere. Okay, I think I've given kind of an overview of things that you can do with the integration between Salesforce and JIRA and Wiki. So let's get back to the slides and kind of summarize. So what we have with Wikidsmart is the only platform that contextually integrates all content from any software engineering tool, any application. If the connectors don't exist, you can create them for tools out there for whatever IBM or HP tools, for example. If you want to have those, you can either create those yourself or Agile can help you. You can guarantee traceability, interoperability, and federated search for all your content across your environment so that it feels like it's one environment, really. And finally, you can achieve customer onboarding and case management with deep interoperability, maximal interoperability, really, between Salesforce, JIRA, Confluence, and others. So where does Agile come in? I kept mentioning earlier that it's open source. Well, again, we can help you implement Wikidsmart with your systems should you choose or you decide that you want help. It should be straightforward in terms of downloading and install it. But if you want some help, we're here to help. If you want connectors for other systems, again, you can create those, or you might choose to have us do those for you. And then, of course, ongoing support. If you'd like Agile to be there for you and provide professional support, we can engage that way. So what are next steps recommended? So go to Agile.com, download Wikidsmart. It's open source, it's free. It includes all the Wikidsmart applications that I mentioned before. It's all in one bundle, so you just download and use them. Now the Salesforce connector is available today from Agile. It's going to be more publicly available on AppExchange. We're just finishing the finalization process in terms of QA with Salesforce. We expect that to be available from May 1st. Remember, at Agile.com, register for online documentation. That way you can kind of learn all the tips and tricks of using the platform. And if you would like to have one-on-one help, we'd be pleased. Contact Agile, and we can walk you through your different use cases at info@agile.com. So thank you very much. This concludes our webinar, and look forward to hearing from you.